this is Candace Stewart, and I want to welcome you to another episode of my podcast, Trade Secrets. Today, my guest is Robin Goodchild. Now, Robin is a friend of long standing, and I will call him Rob throughout the podcast. I might call him Robin. I might call him Bill. I have no idea.
It's fine, whatever you want to do. And to be honest, I'm just glad that you're calling me Robbie. I somehow, over the last year, managed to rebrand myself.
As Robin.
From Rob to Robin.
Yes.
And there are other things that's changed in my personal life as well, which I'm not going to mention on this podcast.
Well, we're going to dig into that in a second, but we're going to start at the beginning. So, again, I mentioned it's somewhat unscripted, but the gist of the whole thing is basically to find out how you got to where you are today. And I don't mean by train, plane, or automobile. So, Rob, where were you born?
Well, I did get here by plane. Obviously, you might tell from my accent. Where was I born?
Yes.
I was born in Halifax, Yorkshire, United Kingdom.
And what are your mom and dad's names?
Victor Goodchild.
Yes.
And Sharon Goodchild.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I've got a sister called Katie. None of us have got middle names.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's up with the lack of a middle name?
Laziness. I think mainly. Sorry, Mum, if you're going to listen to this, but...
It's not lack of ancestry, because I know in the South, I have my mom's maiden name as my middle name, so my middle name is Royster. Yeah, don't laugh.
Royster?
Yeah, that's my
mom's
mom's
maiden name. How
maiden
did I
name.
not know that?
Yeah, in the South in particular, they take the mom's maiden name and give it or they take a family name, a surname, a last name, and make it a middle name. My brothers all have Roundtree and other various...
Roundtree. It sounds like a good old English name, that Roundtree.
Yeah, well, we're Welsh, but English and Welsh. Yeah.
Okay, this interview's over. You're Welsh?
I thought that was going to
Goodness
ingratiate me to you. I thought that you liked the Welsh people.
You know very little about the United Kingdom.
I thought well, fuck the people that don't like the Welsh.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But what's right by you? Like, you're up at the top of this is me being geographically challenged. Where Halifax, Yorkshire is, what is the other country that's nearest you of the United Kingdom islands? Like, what is there? Is it Scotland? Is it Ireland? What's by you?
Okay, let me try and figure out what that sentence meant. I'm going to say, from where Yorkshire is, well, it's at the top in hierarchy, but not geographical location. Yorkshire,
okay.
As God was born in Yorkshire, and he's very fond of it.
God, yeah, it does say that, Yorkshireman is closest to God.
Yeah, I'm glad you've heard that.
Yeah.
And you've seen it firsthand for the last.
So if you were going to
12
leave
years.
England, what would be the nearest? Is it Scotland? Is it Ireland? Is it?
Okay.
Is it just the ocean going up into nowhere?
Well, so we do border a couple of countries.
Yes.
One of them is Wales.
See, this is what I knew. I did know that.
That's to the left as you look at it on a map.
Which is the west, yeah.
As normal people would say. And if you go upwards on the map, north, then you get to Scotland.
Okay. So so you're trapped between Scotland and Wales.
Trapped is the right word. And then there's water on the other side.
Fucking cold water too.
What is
cold
that? Water. I don't know.
Jesus.
But I know it's cold because
is it the Atlantic at that point?
It's okay. So you've got the
North Sea.
The Irish Sea is to the left, and underneath us, south, between France and England, you've got the English Channel.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I knew that.
And then you got the North Sea on the other side. It's all bloody cold, and I know that because when you're a youth, times have changed now. But whether you like it or not, your mum and dad throw you in with no protection.
So this is how you're gonna learn how to swim.
Yeah,
and then your testicles are in your abdomen.
Yeah, often have to push your testicles down from under your armpits just to be able to walk afterwards. But yeah, it's very cold. Yeah, so Scotland, weirdly enough, I've never been to Scotland. I've only been as far. It's really crazy. I know. I meant to go to Scotland once.
But you live in California, which is like 6,500 miles away.
Pretty much to the mile, yes. Yeah, no, never got to Scotland. I've get to the point now where I've lived in California as long
Yeah.
as I lived in England. It's a very weird feeling because I'm still tethered
To home.
to home, which
Yeah.
I always call England home.
Yeah.
I love California. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have been here 22 years
Yeah.
if I didn't. But
I call South Carolina home, Charleston home, and I've been here for 40, and I was only there for like 22. So yeah, that's
it's
kind of
straight-
normal though.
It's your
So we've got
roots.
Katie,
Katie. Yeah.
and no brother,
No brother.
just a sister,
I got a brother-in-law.
younger sister.
Younger sister, yeah.
Okay, Katie. What does Katie do?
Katie has her own business as a therapist, and let me tell you, she's a brilliant woman.
I have no doubt.
She got
You were the firstborn, so you
accidentally-
had less nutrition, and with
Yeah.
Katie, your mom cared.
yes,
So she's very intelligent.
She's very intelligent, and they figured out what they did wrong with me, and they fed her sardines.
I was the fourth child. I got all the good stuff.
Yeah, they really figured it out by the time
Yeah,
they got
yeah,
to
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But they still love me more. No, she was on a fast track to being a presenter in the UK. I mean, I fully believe she could have got there very quickly.
What's a presenter?
A television presenter.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, she worked in TV.
An anchor person?
But she didn't
Like Ron Burgundy?
Yeah, not exactly. Her mustache is thinner. But she just didn't like the industry, the backstabbing, and just the.
What's wrong with the entertainment industry? It's full of integrity and kindness.
Oh, no, you're talking
and
about
truth.
music. You're talking about music
Okay,
and
yeah.
recording, and I agree with you
Yeah, that's it.
nowadays. But television and film can be a bit cutthroat,
Yes.
and she just.
And it's full of fucking actors.
It's full of actors.
Fucking actors. Okay, best movie ever made, Team America.
It's there, it's up there.
But it's full of puppets because they didn't want to have fucking actors. Anyway, so
Wooden acting.
yeah, let's just get to we had the Matt Damon puppet, which like melted, and that's why I was like, oh, Matt Damon. Anyway, so okay, so you're born.
I was born, yes, and then I had a sister, which I'm talking about now. Mine is working faster than mine. this
Well,
morning.
that's common.
Yeah. I don't know what you're saying about me. No, but she didn't like that industry. She's very kind of true to herself, and she loves children. She loves
very cool.
children. So she was a teacher of little kids.
Oh, that's very cool. I was going to be a child psychologist, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was a psych major, and then I did, this is very telling. You know me pretty well, so I think you realize I have fairly strong emotional metal. But I did an internship for 3 months in the psych ward in the children's ward at a mental hospital. And this was in the 70s, and autism, still, we don't know much about it, but it was prevalent then as well, and we knew even less about it then. And you had like Skinnerian theory, behavior modification. So, I'd have this autistic kid, and I'd we'd put the round block into the round hole, and I'd squirt apple juice in their mouth as like positive reinforcement, which was the psychological concept at the time.
Yeah.
For positive and positive reinforcement does work, as attested by my trusty steed, Keith Munson, who's recording this right now. Positive reinforcement works.
Keith hates apple juice.
Yeah, but he does respond to positive reinforcement. So, but anyway, yeah, it requires a certain kind of strength and kind of person, and I realized that I didn't have the emotional strength to do that. So then I was going to become a marriage counselor, which would have been very appropriate. But I turned and I used my gifts in music.
to counsel all the musicians
rock
that come
stars.
through.
Yeah,
And
it's
they-
big
they-
boy daycare. That's what it is.
Well, it is. It is because, the profession takes you away from family, right? And
Yeah,
you-
it's about you today, but yes, we will talk about the grueling aspects of my job and how they've affected me at some other time.
Well, by talking about your job, we're kind of talking about my job.
Well,
as
we are talking about your job, but we're not there yet. It's because you've just been born. Katie's not born yet, but let's get you into elementary school.
Okay.
So you're in elementary school, and I don't know how the school system is in England. I don't know like how many grades you're in primary school, and then when does our version of high school start? So, but I want to find out if you exhibited musical aptitude as a child?
I did. Yes, I did. I on the creative side of everything, really.
What instrument as a child?
As a child, well, it was guitar.
Always guitar.
No. I'll tell you a little story here. My mum does not like this story. She cannot forgive herself for this.
She'll never listen to this part. Oh, no, she probably will because you'll tell her to.
I will. That's how it works in Yorkshire. Yorkshire mums will always listen to what the son's doing. So, yeah, I'd made it very clear that I wanted a guitar for Christmas, my 10th birthday. And I was just dead sure that it was coming. I thought, yeah, I'm going to get Stratocaster and a Marshall. It's coming. I'm talking about it. Last minute switch. It was a keyboard.
Yeah, because it's what she could afford.
Well, it might have been the similar price. I think,
Was it a Casio?
it was probably just quieter.
Oh, there's a valid point.
Yeah.
There's a valid point. My brother first started learning violin, and then is alive now, and is a fantastic guitar player. But violin practice as a child was, like stepping on cats, and I think my parents regretted that. And then we had a piano, but I don't play. I come from a family of extremely talented people, and I am the only one who doesn't play an instrument. So that's I don't know what that means. I'm the counselor. But so guitar. So you get the keyboard.
Yeah, but just to touch on that point, my daughter, who's 9 and is also exhibiting mad creative side.
Yeah, cool. Azalea.
Music.
Beautiful daughter's name.
Yeah, Azalea. She's wonderful. So yeah, she's always humming, like literally always humming. Like we can't.
That's annoying.
Yeah, I don't know what to do because I want to kind of nurture.
Is it like a Tourette's thing?
We don't know yet, and to be honest, I'm scared to take her to the doctor in case we get
Never
some
good
weird
news.
diagnosis.
Never good news.
But she's just gotten a violin
Or voices
from
in the head.
school.
I mean,
Are you suggesting I throw that away before she sees it?
no, I think. Well, your parents did nurture your
they
great
did.
thing.
They
They got
did.
the keyboard, and so, and you know,
actually, it
was probably good.
There was a deal made, because early on I wanted to be a musician, and that's what I ended up doing. I will get there.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
But she said at the age of 10, tender age of 10, she said, "You can be a rock star if you want." How little she knew.
Thank you, Mom, for the
yeah.
support. That is a rare sentence to come
you
out of a
need to
mother's.
do,
I don't think
she
Mick
said.
Jagger's mom ever said that to him.
That probably drove him to it, to
Right, yeah.
success. As long as you get a degree. That was
fair
the deal.
enough. My parents' expression was always, "You need something to fall back on." And I'm like, well, I have a big butt, so if I fall down, it'll be fine. But it was always you had to have this second B plan, and it was almost always counterintuitive or opposite from your real joy. Like,
Yeah.
you can do this thing, you can be a rock star, but you have to become a dentist.
Yeah. Just make sure your plan B is eternal misery, okay? As long as you got that, go for it.
That provides
We'll
a
support
living,
you.
money. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, which is sensible as you learn. When you're
You
older.
know, now as a parent, I'm sure that these haunting words are coming back. But so the keyboard, good training, learning
Yeah, but it were-
chords, learning octaves.
It were boring for me.
It were
I wanted-
boring.
it
Is
were
that
boring.
is that your normal speech set? It were boring.
It were boring for me, yes.
Did you trade it at school?
I went for keyboard lessons
Okay.
with my dad. It kind of took the edge off it.
Okay.
Me and my dad going for keyboard lessons.
And then
playing
drinking pints. You're 10.
Edelweiss.
You're
I
10.
was 10. He didn't start buying me pints till I was 12.
So when did you get your first guitar, and what kind of guitar was it?
It was the year after, and it was a Stratocaster copy from Korea.
Oh yeah,
And the company
some of those
was
are very good.
It was a Vesta Stratocaster. Yeah, you haven't heard of them.
Did it have a case or the amp in the case? That's what my brother had. His first one was the amp in the case.
No, I got a cool 40 watt Marshall valve stick.
Dude.
and it was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good setup.
Nice. So now you're like, how, like 11?
Yes, I guess I would have been 11 for the electric guitar. I started playing classical guitar.
Oh, hard.
Yeah, hard. And
But
again,
good training.
I was playing, I was trying to play Iron Maiden on a classical guitar. I mean,
There's been a lot of people that I've talked to that, and I guess it's because they're younger than me, but they all start out as metalheads. Like David Davis, Robert Carranza had a band that was contemporary of Metallica. Fuck, I can't believe I just forgot the name of Robert's band. It was amazing.
well, it really draws a guitar player to it because
Shredder.
I was a shredder.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yngwie Malmsteen, watch out. Rob's going to eclipse you.
I don't know about that. Now, in my age, I've got some nerve damage.
Dude, my husband's 64, bitching about tendonitis, everything. I'm just shut up, smoke the joint, play the song.
You got
take
it.
the CBD. So
I'm going to have to get back into
now
it.
yeah, it'll be a good stress reliever for you. And plus you can hit people with the guitar. Now, do English public schools, did they have music programs when you were a child? Like chorus or
actually,
band class?
So my education was a little bit different because I didn't follow the path of
You were in the circus on a caravan?
Not quite. I went to what they call a grammar school from the age of 10, which is a private boys' school.
Was it Catholic?
It wasn't Catholic.
Protestant? Well, yeah, you're Yorkshireman.
Church of England.
C of E, of course.
Yeah.
I'm Episcopalian, same thing.
And there was a big emphasis on music there.
Oh, good.
And we had this amazing teacher.
Even for electric guitar, because usually you think of band and it doesn't include electric guitar, but...
So I learned classical there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But they did kind of, I remember we performed like age of 15, and they let us perform at the in the main hall on stage.
Did you get to have dances where females came, or was it just boys?
It was always just boys. So there's a picture of me like in my Slayer t-shirt with ripped jeans.
Do you have long hair?
Long hair, yeah, with a BC Rich like Iron Bird.
Nice.
And then you pan out to the crowd in Graves Hall, and they're all like sat down in the blazers and the ties, looking like they're watching a piece of art. Which, of course, we were.
Yeah, but you were probably the best band they'd ever seen.
Yeah, probably.
You may have been the only band they'd ever seen.
Yeah.
They probably weren't making the trip into, like, your professors probably weren't making the trip to see the Kinks and stuff, or the Stones. Oh, wait,
no, I don't know about that.
Really?
I mean, I remember my math teacher, Mr. Wilson, he would always bring Pink Floyd into the conversation.
Nice. Actually, I got to be
maths.
honest, dude, Gilmore's one of my favorite guitar players.
Yeah.
Innovator.
Well, there's a lot of maths to
Guitar.
to music.
Yeah, it's true. It's all languages, different languages, maths. So we're 15. We're playing in the quad or the whatever, the hall, Graves Hall.
Did you see Robin Goodchild?
Oh, my God, he's a prodigy.
He's got holes in his jeans. As Mr. Goldthorpe. It was a very prim and proper school. I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was a rebel. You can't believe it, can you?
Yeah, I totally can't believe it. But I mean, like I said, you moved away. I feel it. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
Bless
Get it out.
you.
Get it out. Get it out. Get it out. We'll probably edit that out. So, were you good in school?
Was I good in school?
Yeah. Did you make good grades?
I did. Yeah.
And as you were doing music and as you were playing in the band, was there anything else that intrigued you while you were in school? Was there anything else that you enjoyed? Oh,
so art.
Okay. You're just a lost cause. I mean,
yeah, no, absolutely. So no wonder my mum's like, yeah, I'm a bit worried about you. So you're gonna have to learn how to do other things that make money.
You're close to Wales. You could be a minor, and not the underage kind.
No, well, although they do throw them down there at 8.
Child labor.
So yeah, no, I remember just spending my entire weekend on art projects,
like painting as well.
Yeah, well, the sculpture and
cool.
drawing was my thing. I loved
very
drawing.
Cool. Did you ever? My mom was an artist. Did you ever pre computers? Did you ever do like charcoal or what was your
No,
medium? Pencil, pen.
Just pencil.
Yeah, awesome.
And then I just got pissed off with paint.
Yeah.
I just didn't do it. I preferred pencil.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to commit.
Yeah, you don't have to be good. You don't have to be as
Well,
good.
I don't know about that.
But anyway, yeah, I won myself a little art prize.
Nice.
Yeah. It was a book on guitars, the ultimate guitar book.
Oh, that's the prize you won?
Well, so I won a book token, right? A book token, you could, like 20
Is it like
pounds.
a coin? Like a Barnes and Noble coin?
It was like Barnes and Noble, but
Okay.
it was a W.H. Smith's or something like that.
Oh, that's cool. In fourth grade, I won a art contest for, and this is interesting, it was watercolor that you blew with a straw. And I made this really elaborate tree, actually. And it was not easy to do. I'd like to point that out because you have a very tiny straw. And it was just another thing that the art teacher had us do. I did all kinds of things, but that was what the art teacher had us do. And I did okay.
Do you still have your
I have my
your
tree.
straw blown tree?
I do. And I started getting back into watercolor. Again, not about me, but I started getting back into watercolor about 6 years ago. And what the fuck was I thinking, dude? Watercolor is so unbelievably hard. I mean, oil, acrylic notwithstanding, watercolor's fucking hard. It's really hard. Yeah, actually. Anyway, I'm no Watteau or Renoir. I photography
do you
is
ever
now.
do you ever Bob Ross it? Do you ever just like pop Bob on just to calm your nerves?
Who is that? What is
Bob
that?
Ross?
I don't know who that is.
Oh my goodness.
Who's Bob Ross?
Call yourself a painter.
Oh, is he like a famous
Oh, the
watercolor?
big guy, big bushy hair.
Oh, the
Teaching you how to paint.
Oh, yeah.
Bob
Well,
Ross.
probably. And I just didn't know that was his name. But yeah, I have all kinds of DVDs, and including I have two guitars. I have a 1961 Framus, which is gorgeous, and I have a small Strat. And my husband in vain has tried to get me to learn how to play guitar with him, DVDs and himself, and I can't be taught. I can't even hold it correctly. I don't know. I don't have an affinity for holding guitar.
Well,
I can listen to music very well.
It's a really important part of playing is holding the instrument sometimes.
He told me to have to cut my nails, and I just quit biting them. And I was like, Anyway, that's another story. But I have to check out. You have to check out my Framus. It's a really, really beautiful guitar. It's a smaller, Pauler guitar, famous Spanish company.
Well, you'll have to bring it in.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous guitar. So now you're 15. You got your ripped jeans, your Slayer T-shirt. You're killing it.
Killing it in Graves Hall
Did
for
you
the
start
lads.
to play outside of school? Did you form a band, and were you the leader?
Yes.
I would. That does not surprise me.
And I even drew our look. It's all tying together now, isn't it? I
Yes.
drew our posters.
Do you have
the
that
first-
logo somewhere? Do you?
I've got it somewhere. Yeah. So one of the well, I say I was the leader. Look, I wrote the songs. I was kind of the
Did you
main
sing?
songwriter in the bands that I've been in. Yeah.
Do you sing as
No,
well?
I didn't sing in that band. That was Richard Ash, who came out to
Oh,
the States
Dickie
with
Ash.
me. Do you know Dickie Ash?
Did you call him Dickie?
No, but that is a missed opportunity. Dickie Ash. From now on, I've known him since I was 10.
So
He used to work for. He came out with us.
I'm trying to keep chronology here. So you formed the band. You're 16 now, 17. How old are you?
I've grown up very quickly in this story.
You were
no,
9. Now you're 22.
So 15 or 16, we played Batley Town Hall
Oh, all right.
in a band called Chain.
Was this the first time girls came to your show?
to Pathos?
Wait, the band was called Pathos?
Yeah,
Your band was called Pathos.
Pathos. Yeah, you should just
This
listen
is
to the
fucking
lyrics.
awesome.
Nowadays you read the lyrics. And
You think you were
I'm
a
in
dark
therapy.
and tortured
I'm,
soul.
I'm in psychiatrists everywhere. But yeah, no. But I was big into Slayer at the time, and
Yeah.
some of those lyrics were
God rest Jeff Hanna.
yeah.
R.I.P.
I know.
They did records probably with you and I, Slayer.
You know,
They did records in the room that we're sitting in, actually. They did drums in the room that we're in.
not Slayer, but Kerry King came in to do a solo on the Sum 41 record.
Oh, nice.
I
What
remember
was
that.
the drummer's name? Keith, if you can give me that. What was the drummer's name who I love so much from Slayer?
Oh, Dave Lombardo.
Dave Lombardo. What a nice cat.
He's awesome.
Sweetie pie. And great drummer.
This is why people gravitate to metal, because the musicians are so bloody good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would.
It's great
I
musicianship.
would say
Like, you've got to have
specifically in
your
metal.
chops.
But
Well, what kind of metal? Come on,
Okay.
let's start this fight.
We want death metal?
Well, not
I don't know the
necessarily, but if
category-
you listen to the drummers in death metal,
You have to remember, I don't know the categories of metal because I, being a sensitive and very erudite soul, listen completely and only to Roxy music.
and Genesis.
yeah. Oh, no. I don't really respect Peter Gabriel, respect Phil Collins, love Chester Thompson, who was a drummer in Genesis, but Genesis is not my go-to. But that's a story for another time.
No, Dave Lombardo is killer drummer.
Great fucking drummer. And you're right.
Bill
You're
Ward.
right.
Started.
Bill Ward. Oh, dude. Okay,
Come
now
on.
this is an argument that I've had. Is Sabbath metal? Is Sabbath rock? Is Sabbath heavy metal? Because I'm a huge Sabbath fan.
Sabbath.
See, I said I didn't like metal, but I'm a huge Black Sabbath fan.
Sabbath is God.
Oh, dude. And when he was young, he was fucking hot, dude. Ozzy was hot. Blonde, good looking. You know, there's a story about Ozzy. Is
There
it
are
Ozzy or
a
Eddie
few.
Money?
Yeah.
Ozzy was here and kind of didn't know. He was a bit bewildered the day I saw him here. But yeah, he's fine now. But
That's probably a good,
Yeah.
that's probably a good description of him in general.
bewildered. But so Sabbath is God, without question. War Pigs, one of my first early favorite songs, and then we're going to call it metal.
Yeah, well, because it kicked off the genre, didn't it?
Yeah. I guess what it is for me, I'm not into White Zombie. Respect Rob Zombie, not into White Zombie.
Okay, well, that was a bit of a leap, though, wasn't it?
But isn't that metal too?
Yeah, but...
But see, Sabbath to me
it's
is
a subgenre.
rock.
Well, okay, so there's the groove to Sabbath.
That's what I'm
right?
saying. You've got
There's all the pockets, everywhere.
Dude, you got the bass is happening. Bill Ward is still with us and still killing it. Ozzy still with us, I think, unless that's an imposter, but I think it's Ozzy.
yeah. No, but so there's
Who
the
is the bass
distinction,
player in
right?
Sabbath?
Geezer Butler.
Of course.
Yeah, you know what?
Badass
Little
bass
story.
player.
Can I just leave the
Yes.
chronology for a second?
Yeah.
So, as you'll know, running a studio for God knows how long, it's very difficult for us to get starstruck.
True.
It's part of the gig, right?
Yeah.
You see,
It's not an
you see-
attractive quality to fawn over your clients, in that sense.
plus you realize, they are people.
They're just
And-
people. They put their pants on one leg at a time.
Exactly.
That's what Don West said to me one day.
But just completely out of context of the studio, I was actually walking on, I just come out of the doctor's on Beverly Boulevard, and I was stood at the corner. Tony Iommi and his manager rocked up to my right. And bear in mind,
Badass.
I am probably 36, 37 at this point, and I just turned into a 10-year-old.
I love it.
I didn't say anything. I only looked out the corner of my
Did
eye.
you stop breathing?
I think I might have for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
I just didn't say anything to him. I'm glad I didn't.
Well,
It might have been a bad interaction. It
he
might
mi-
not have wanted the conversation.
he might not have minded it. I have a very dear friend, my friend Dana Childs, who you actually probably know, who worked for with Adam Katz for a long time at Tsunami, and she worked for Sandy Robertson at World's End, and she worked at Fender. But anyway, she was Tony's girlfriend for quite a long time.
Right.
She's married now to a lovely British man, James Childs. Your good child. She's Childs, Dana Childs and James Childs.
Right.
And James is a touring musician, but she was Tony Iommi's girlfriend for a really long time.
Poor
So,
James
yes.
having to live up to that.
Yeah, right. Seriously, that's I know. Seriously, I have to tease him about that. But so Sabbath, we're totally in agreement.
Good.
Sabbath is God.
So
Yeah.
what you're thinking about then is you might, correct me if I'm wrong, think that it's a little bit clinical because of all the chops that just get thrown out, maybe to the grid a little bit, a lot of double kick drum.
Maybe I'm not getting the melody or feeling the other kinds. I mean, Metallica.
And the growls. You look at the melody and the growls and death metal.
Well, the screaming is not my thing.
Yeah, well, that's
I
fair
told
enough.
Dave Grohl that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing to your voice, bro? You're just gonna
I
scream.
don't know how he does it. Like,
dude, it's nuts.
yeah.
Well, it's Crown
like
Royal and
3 hours.
Advil. 6 Advil and a shot of Crown.
Yeah, but
That'll
every night?
lubricate. It's nuts. And lungs, but lungs from being a drummer probably. I don't know. That's a story for another time. But okay, so it's not about what I like. It's about what Rob was doing. So Rob we've gone from he's playing in the band and he's like 16, and finally there's girls coming to the show, and then he gets on a plane and he comes to the United States. Now, how old were you when you came here?
I was 20. Okay, so I was 20 the first time.
And did you have some success regionally? Like, did you actually tour or anything with your bands?
No, we've skipped ahead here. The first
Okay.
time I came out here was to do an internship at Oceanway
Right.
for 3 months.
Now, those of you who don't know, we are sitting in Studio 3 at East West Studios, which is at 6000 Sunset. Was once part of Oceanway, the east building of Oceanway. The west building of Oceanway was originally called United. Our building was originally called Western. Then it became Oceanway. Then my building became Cello. So Rob comes out when it's still Oceanway at 6050 Sunset. Also Bill Putnam rooms. They are letters and weird numbers. They are beautiful rooms. Studio A and B, unbelievably incredible studio, incredible pedigree, incredible history. Right in line also with the building that we're in. And Rob comes out to do an internship. Now, was this part of a high school program, work study program, recording school, trade school, or college? Like,
No, we got to university now.
Okay.
So I went to Manchester University, studied in Warrington, which was part of Manchester's.
is that where Manchester United soccer is there too?
Manchester?
Man U soccer. Is
Yes.
Yep. My favorite soccer team.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's a good job we're not in England. You might start some fights.
Well, we should get yeah. We could do chants.
But I don't think
I do
we're
have a
doing that
Welsh
well.
background. We could like chant.
Is that what happens in Wales? Just chants everywhere.
No, they soccer chants.
Yeah, well, they've got pipes in Wales. They've got some serious pipes. Tom Jones.
Oh, dude,
man.
badass. Robert Plant. Welsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So back to Rob though. This is about Rob.
Okay.
You. It's about you.
So where have I got to? So I did
The internship.
My degree was in commercial music production.
You actually
and
graduated.
business. What do you mean I actually graduated?
Did you graduate university?
Of course I bloody did. What's the point going if you don't?
I was 20 hours shy of a psych major, business minor, but that's another story for another time. Yes,
so
I'm a
yeah,
quitter. I'm a quitter.
You could say that I've been
Was the
using
internship
my degree.
required, or was it something that you availed yourself of? Or was it required?
So it was required, but most people would do them
Locally.
And myself and Richard Ash, who I mentioned earlier.
Any good studios near the near
well,
the
up
university?
north, it's few and far between in
Okay.
terms of well-known studios. Obviously,
Okay.
you've got Air and Abbey Road down south,
Yeah.
but I wasn't as familiar with the studio scene in the UK as LA at the time.
Because you're
weirdly
looking
enough.
at the records that you love, and you're figuring out where they're done.
Well, it is like the hub, isn't it? Los Angeles is,
Yeah.
I mean, great studios. But yeah, so we came out and just decided to come to California for 3 months.
Did
as
Dickie Ash have
youths.
a plan? Richard Ash.
Yes, no, absolutely.
He had same plan?
Well, so he ended up. Jack Puig took a liking
How do I not
to
know this?
took a liking to
Jack, if you're listening, you should know that my
Rich.
nickname for you is Little Lord Fauntleroy, and I say it with the deepest of love in my heart.
I bloody love JJ.
I do too. No, I
I've
do too.
got the fondest memories of Jack and
I actually
that
love Jack.
room.
I shouldn't say actually. I love Jack.
Every time I smell Nag Champa, it takes me back to Studio A, which was the greatest ever decor
Back
in
to
any
the
studio
trauma
ever.
lyrics of Pathos. We've gone full circle to the Nag Champa
But
trauma.
yeah, so
Richard ends up going in with
so Rich
you
ended up
both go to
staying.
Oceanway.
Yeah, we both went to Oceanway. I came back to finish my degree. He stayed out for a year with Jack and deferred his degree for a bit. So he got some real world experience in a pretty crazy room.
Yes, the Focusrite Room, Studio
Studio A.
A, of course,
Yep.
of course.
So yeah, we did our internships here. It kind of blew us away a little bit. It was like, oh, this is what it's about, isn't it?
Well, and people that are listening to this, we're assuming you have some concept of the studio world and the hierarchy of, the journey. But if you don't, you start as an intern, you become a runner, That's the paid part, and then you become an assistant engineer, and then I shoved you out of the nest mercilessly as you become a first engineer, and you're on your own trying to get people to pay you.
I did not do the assistant engineer thing.
I thought you did. I thought that was...
No. I very early on, I thought,
I'm an administrator.
no, I thought, fuck this. These people are crazy.
Yeah, well.
And, like, incredible. I mean, like, you got to hand it to engineers.
Dude,
it's a different way of living.
Oh, what we're talking about here is that during this internship, when it would have been this would have been the 90s? When did you do your internship?
No, so my internship, 99, and then I went back to finish my degree.
God, you're new. Literally new. Like, what are you, new? I forget that I'm 20 years older than Rob. So you, and I'm trying to think, you would have had Stones, you would have had Ziggy Marley, you would have had, obviously all the stuff that Jack was doing, which is amazing. You would have been, the two buildings shared a lot of the same artist over the years.
They would go back and forth, record in both studios. Like, we had Goo Goo Dolls, Verve Pipe, and it was the back end of the 90s.
You know, Johnny's going to be on this show.
Really?
Yeah,
awesome.
He's such a sweetie pie. But yeah, go ahead.
It's just a really different time in music, wasn't it?
Well, I think I started in like 85, and I've seen a lot of a lot of cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some lulls, like in Moogie's podcast, we're talking about the lull right after disco, like in 80. And then again in 88, there was sort of a somewhat, I don't want to say demise, but there were lulls. And then when you came, everybody had come full circle back to the realization that they needed a really beautiful big studio, large format console, acoustic space, and rightly so, to make a record. I mean, the rooms that we're talking about, and I bring this up often, you started to mention engineering as a way of life is quite insane, and you opted not to follow that path. But God bless them, everyone, because they are the keepers of the faith of all recorded music since time immemorial, for the past 60, 70 years, and we are very grateful to them. And rooms like this, the gear notwithstanding, the consoles, tape machines, now computers notwithstanding, the acoustic spaces that Bill Putnam built in your building and in the West building and in my building, they're just untouchable. And then what the color and the enhancement that they lend to the music is incalculable. I don't know that you can really estimate its importance. You
can't, and it's obviously intangible as well.
Yeah.
But when you're in these, like, it's so nice to be in this room right now.
It sounds really cool. And 3's my favorite room. I always say it's small but mighty.
Well, it's just lovely to be in here because there's just...
There's a vibe, dude.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a time machine.
Dude, we're sitting where the Mamas and the Papas, which was originally going to be a demo for Lou Adler, California Dreamin', Monday, the Beach Boys, a lot of stuff in this room. And then newer bands like, well, it wouldn't be new to you, but like AFI, Mars Volta, a lot of stuff with George Drakoulias in this room, actually, who was a protege initially of Rick Rubin, if you don't know who George is.
Same beard.
What, darling?
Same beard.
Yes. I love George. George is a client. George has since
he's awesome.
way, gone to the stratosphere as a music supervisor. So pretty much every cool movie you ever watch, the music, the soundtrack, etc., it's probably George probably did it. He's an incredible music supervisor now, but a great producer as well, and a great bass player.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like he's a motherfucking great bass player. He's actually a multi-instrumentalist. George, I'm going to have to get you on here. I know you'll do it. I love you so much.
Yeah,
anyway,
George, come
on. So you're doing the internship. You realize you don't want to follow the path of being an assistant. You see poor Dick Ash trapped in Studio A with lovely Jack.
If Rich hears this, it's going to be he's going to be so annoyed.
Richard, I promise I'm only kidding, man. I'll stick to Richard.
No, I'm not Rich.
We got to fuck with
every
him.
bloody word.
Yeah,
no.
You got to fuck with him. So you did go back. You finished school. You tell your parents, I'm going back to L.A. I really enjoyed the internship. They've offered me a paying gig. Is that what you get to tell mom and dad?
Yeah. Well, they said, when we left, when you're ready, we'll have you back. And
your parents are nice.
Yeah, no, they are.
Oh, no, Oceanway said we'll have you back.
Well, they said that. But my parents, they kind of had to take me back. Well, not legally, I suppose,
Yeah,
but they did. Yes, they are nice.
Yes, we like them. So Oceanway offered you what position do you come back to?
You come back to a runner. You're
Yeah.
a runner.
Yeah.
That's the general
Trajectory.
trajectory. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I bet you were the best runner ever.
no, definitely.
Did you suck?
I didn't suck, no.
Oh.
But I came out with a few English lads. We came out in a band. So that's what we did. When we went back
right.
to the UK, we started a band and we said,
Is Richard Ashe in the band?
He was, yeah.
Okay. Guitar player or bass player?
Bass player.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get a band together. We'll come out. We'll all work in the studio.
Were we still Pathos?
We weren't paying us at that time. We were Sterling at that point.
With an E?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't see any sterling for our time. We had to pay plenty of sterling to play on Sunset Boulevard.
Oh, yeah. Did you play the Whiskey ever?
Not the Whiskey. We played the Roxy a fair few times.
Great. The Roxy sounds so good.
The Roxy did sound good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. I saw Steve Winwood there. That's a story for another time. But
yeah, so we got a band together. Three of us could work legally. 5 of us came out.
did you have a work visa? An H1? Is that what is it called?
What was it? It was a J1 to start with because it was part of a
What
student
is the
visa.
I-98? What is that?
Oh God, I forget all this.
Yeah.
I've spent a good old down payment on a house on visas.
Are you an American citizen?
I'm not.
Okay, well, I don't blame you on that one. God bless this country, but I see why you would not be. All right, so you've come out, you got the band, we've got Richard Ashe. Who are the other members of the band?
Gav Stead.
Gavin.
Gavin.
Okay. Gavin Stead. Who's drummer?
No, he's a guitar player.
Okay.
Edward Shires. Ed. You probably know Ed.
That's familiar.
Tall guy.
Good
6'5".
Ooh.
Oh, you hear that, Ed? Are you listening? Candace is holding a torch for you. You remember Ed, clearly.
Ed Shires.
And then, we convinced one of our good friends from
Was he a
university.
hobbit from the Shire? Sorry. I couldn't resist.
Spelled differently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, Sheyers?
No.
Oh, how do you spell
Keep
Shires?
going. Shiers.
I-E-R-S. Is
Yeah.
he Jewish?
No. He's not.
I have no idea why I ask these questions. I'm
You should
trying
have
to
him
learn-
on.
I'm trying to learn the different spellings of different surnames, and what their origin is. So,
And then we had Robert Pierce, who we brought in after getting a manager.
was he a singer?
No, he was a guitar player
Who was
as well.
your? We got 3 fucking guitar players
Yeah,
in the
we
band
do.
in Sterling.
It's
And
like
who's
the-
singing? You're singing in Sterling.
I'm singing, yeah.
Yeah, I bet you have I don't know if I've ever heard you sing. I bet you're awesome.
You've known about my bands, though, so you
Sterling.
have obviously haven't cared enough to look them up.
I will now. I feel that I must now. So, you're gigging on Sunset Boulevard. You're running at Oceanway, living the fucking dream. Are you
kinda
guys
was.
sharing a house? Like
Yeah, we're
7
sharing a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
5 of us. We actually built,
like a divider.
we built dividers for the rooms, but then we actually built another room in the living room. And it's funny because when we came
Very
out,
handy, the Yorkshireman.
we were sleeping on 2-inch foam
Pallets.
pieces
Yeah.
that we got from the Army Surplus store on Vine Street.
I love that store.
And we were sleeping under the
Across from 3 of Clubs. So you go into the Army Surplus store, and then you walk across the street to have a drink at 3 of Clubs, which has an AA
With your
meeting.
Bowie knife.
An AA meeting next door to the 3 of Clubs.
So yeah, we were sleeping on foam.
Where was the apartment?
It was on Vine, like Vine and Willoughby, like by the Cactus Burrito there.
Next stop, Willoughby. So,
And we were sleeping. We were sleeping under the free blankets we got from the Virgin flight.
I love those blankets.
No, I didn't. I'll tell
The
you for
zippy
why.
pillow, too. They had a
Like-
zippy pillow.
As you slept, and you created a lot of friction with your movement between the foam underneath you and the blanket on top of you, you were producing like 3,000 volts. Like I was waking up sparking.
Was your hair like vertical?
It was pretty much like that, and it was comedy.
We need to. I can visualize this because I'm an incredibly visual person, but I can see this image of Rob getting up, walking around in the boxers with the blanket wrapped around him, with his hair is 8 inches tall,
just sparking from the living room into the bathroom with everyone. What the fuck's going on? Yeah, no, that is
Oh my
pretty
God.
much what it
How
was.
much was the rent?
At that time, I think it was
15?
$1,200.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, everyone does what they must. You know?
Yeah, we do what we must, but we also
Yeah.
do silly things. The first piece of furniture we bought, and bear in mind we didn't have beds, was a mirrored bar. that
Well, this to me seems crucial.
clearly
As it
been a coke bar. And,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
nobody had beds. There was no fucking seat. We were
But you
sitting
have a
on
mirrored
inflatable seats that we got free with like beer or something. And then we got this bar in the middle of the room.
This apartment
Oh my God.
sounds like a real trap for the ladies as well.
Well, it didn't do so bad. I'll tell you, the
Yeah.
standards were low.
Who needs a bed? You've got the mirrored bar. So
Honestly,
and-
I wish some of the lads have had separate rooms.
there we go. There we go. Don't need to know how they do their business. But so Sterling is now playing the Sunset Strip. You're living the dream. You're writing songs together.
Yes.
Because you can't get away from each other. Cause
Pretty much.
You're in a,
Well, our
you're in a,
work
you're in a
schedule-
700 square foot room.
Yeah, well, that was it. And you know, we would rehearse every night, 7 days a week.
I bet your neighbors love that shit.
Oh, honestly, I don't know how we got away with it.
I'm serious.
There
dude.
must have been some serious illegal action going on around us. Didn't want to cause
bunch of old deaf
Didn't want
people.
to see any police. But
Oh, that makes sense.
I just remember it was such an asshole move on my part. I'm
What did
sure.
you
I was
do?
I was practicing during the day, and someone knocked on the door. The only time, like, can you keep it down? I'm trying to revise for an exam, and instead of saying yes, I said, and I went like sweating.
Did you go feck off?
No, with a guitar strapped to me. I said, "Are you sure
Were
it
you
was
shirtless?
me?"
Were you shirtless?
I was shirtless. I said, "Are you sure it was
Sweaty and
me?"
shirtless with vertical hair.
But yeah, we got away with it.
Wait, you opened the door shirtless with a guitar and said no?
No, I said, "Are you sure it was me?" She wasn't too impressed.
Oh, it was a lady.
It was a lady, yes. But yeah, it
so
was.
what,
Those were the days.
Was Sterling able to avail them as a runner at Oceanway? Were you able to avail yourself to use of the rooms? I don't think they did allow that.
No,
I
they
have
didn't.
always
No,
allowed
no,
it.
no. There was a staff rate, which was today's rate.
Yeah. I have that as well, but I do, and I was interesting because I remembered that other studios, Oceanway, I think A&M, Conway, there's quite a few that didn't really, and I could be speaking out of turn with A&M, but they didn't really let people use the rooms, and it always seemed counterintuitive to me. I didn't want people to steal time and come in, record, the Stones and not make them pay, but I did want them to get into the rooms and learn the rooms, and I still do. I still, when we have a down day.
I'm with you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
always
it makes sense.
Tried to put on, sessions with assistants, get the runners in, just record anything.
Yeah, each other. record each other, do
And
whatever.
we got that going a few times.
Yeah,
and-
you're a good manager. You're a caring manager. So Sterling is happening. Mm-hmm. Did Sterling record?
Sterling, Sterling's got
If
a
I looked it
record
up,
out.
I would know this.
yeah, right. But no, we
Was
yeah,
it vinyl, CD, cassette?
CDs, and then God, I remember
CDs were
just
so
putting the-
late for me. This is another story for another time.
I know. No, we got a couple of records, and we've
Wow.
been, we within.
Did you get signed?
It was.
I'm sorry, Rob.
It was a. No, it was a good and a bad time. We got thrown in front of all the labels.
Did you do like
within 2
showcases and
months.
stuff?
Yeah, we had this one huge showcase at the Gig on Melrose. Do you remember that place?
Oh yes.
I loved that place.
It's still.
until
By the way, I think it's
showcase.
still open. I went there like a year ago, and I've forgotten that it was still there.
Is
I don't
it
think
still
it's called.
there?
I don't think it's called the Gig, but
Oh no, it's not called the Gig anymore.
yeah, it's. I know the location though.
Yeah.
Look at
So
that.
we had this, but we got this manager through Jason Cropper.
Oh,
who, You know
wow.
Jason
I
of
do.
Weezer fame.
Yeah.
our manager, Chris Barker, had a few favours owed to him.
Oh, okay.
And we were on... Do you remember Jed? You obviously remember Jed the Fish. Catch of the Day.
Of course.
We were Catch of the
You're
Day.
talking about the DJ.
Yeah.
On
K-Rock.
K-Rock. Yeah.
So within 2 months of being here, like we'd only been a band for like 6 months, or maybe even just shy of a year. We were on K-Rock.
Is the point of this that you feel that you weren't ready for this exposure?
We were not ready at all.
Okay.
We were static. Oh, it was horrible. It was the worst showcase we could have possibly had.
I'm sure it's not nearly as bad as you think it was.
Well, we didn't get signed, Candace.
Oh, that's not... I mean, it's just, the Beatles didn't get initially signed either. I would like to point that out.
Yeah, but they didn't give up either.
But there's somebody somewhere who didn't sign the Beatles. That person is in
Yeah.
obscurity kicking themselves now. So my other question is, you're working at Oceanway. What are the other guys doing? Are they working at studios besides Richard Ash? Are they working at studios? Are they working at restaurants? They're just doing whatever they can to get by, right?
We could only work at the studio. Only 3 of us could work. There were 5 of us to support.
That's right.
It's like a family.
Oh my God, how giving is that?
Yeah, it didn't, politically speaking.
Did those friendships stand that test? Pretty much?
Barely.
Yeah.
There were some tough moments, let's put it that way.
Well, the guys that aren't working should have been cleaning.
All of these conversations were happening.
Cooking,
Yeah.
contributing. So you got like people like Scott Litt was still here in my building at that time, of course, doing all the REM stuff, amongst other things. It must have been somewhat of a torment, and I think about this today with people that are on my staff that are artists. You're an artist and you want to be an artist. And sometimes I tend not to hire artists for this reason. I don't mind if you're a musician, but if you're going to seek that path to stardom, I probably won't hire you. If you want to be an engineer and you also play an instrument, that's fine. But because I can see the heartbreak and the pain that would be involved, like here you're around Rick Rubin, you're around all these Don Was and all these famous producers. You do a showcase, your band doesn't get signed, and you have to go in the next day and you're cleaning the toilet.
Well, that
Humility.
happens. Yeah. The best runners, the best engineers, the best people in studios don't give a shit about that, right? You can tell they know where they're going.
Yeah.
And they will happily clean a toilet.
Yeah, of course.
To get there.
Yeah.
So you can see them a mile off.
Yeah.
And
But you didn't want to be an assistant. You were an artist. You were a runner.
Yeah.
So when was the light bulb and or the painful awareness that maybe pursuing the rock star path, you were going to take a bend in the road and become an administrator in the studio?
so I basically...
And how old are you? Like 23?
I think I created a position. I said, hey, do you know what would be good? Is if we
I'll
had
be
somebody
head
who
runner.
did... No, it wasn't that. It was like, we need someone to do this, and this, keep the tape vault. Well, actually, we had a tape vault.
Yeah,
guy.
well, yeah, we did too.
So I'll take all of this
I'll
on.
be the librarian.
And I'll just do all of this stuff. And I kind of went on the path towards management at that point.
I'm going to help make everything more organized and secure, and you need me for this.
Yeah, something like that. I don't think anyone bought
Was
it. but I somehow got a gig.
Jack Waltz still around at that time? Was Clarice
No,
the manager? Who was managing?
Well, actually, Jack was there for a bit.
Yeah.
And then
Rest in peace, Jack Waltz.
Ernie, I know, I loved Jack.
Ernie Woody, of course.
Ernie was the business manager, right? And then
Yeah.
Kelly,
Kelly Irwin.
Kelly was booking the rooms.
That's right, Clarice was gone. Okay, Kelly was.
Yeah, Clarice had already gone by then.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the team.
Great team. Great time. I'm going to say that 99 to 05, stellar time.
I loved it.
I was here at Cello. I came in 98, Christmas of 98, to the 6,000 building. And we were concurrent, although I don't know if I remember you from that time, probably because I was already a manager and you were a lowly runner.
Yep, I was just a
But no,
pleb.
I mean,
I
I'm
think
sure
I first met you.
I probably asked you for favors.
What kind of favors? I mean,
Like, can I borrow something?
well, but when I took over, yeah.
Oh, no,
probably-
we've been great friends for a while. But when you were a runner, well, when did we meet?
I'll tell you when we met.
Uh-oh.
We met as Darren Morra recorded us, and you were gracious enough to host us.
Oh, yeah. I
Studio
love Darren.
2.
Darren's still doing great. I believe he's still running sound at the Alex Theater, if that's the case. I'm not quite sure.
Darren's great.
That crew at cello, Robert Reed. So to give some sort of a perspective here, so Rob is at 6050. I'm at 6,000. It's now called cello at that time. It was still called Oceanway. And when the person that I work for, Rick Adams, bought the building, and John Porter brought me over here, the producer who I love and I always credit with giving me this incredible opportunity to be in the building that I'm still in. And thank you, John, a fellow Brit. We love him. Also a Yorkshireman.
Good lad.
Yeah. Leeds, that counts, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very
he's
close to
Leeds.
Murfield.
There you
which
go.
is where I was born.
And so, it was that crew. I stole, what I'm trying to get at is that when I came in 98, I stole a bunch of assistants from Oceanway and brought them over here. The ones I thought were the greatest, which was Mike Scatella, John Sorensen, Katie, Alan Sanderson. So Alan Sanderson, John Sorensen, Mike Scatella, Katie was coming up, amazing, great assistant, good engineer. And also then Darren Morra, Robert Reed. And most everybody stuck with it. I think, I believe John is in Canada teaching still. Great. He was a good fucking engineer. Alan Sanderson has a studio of his own in San Diego. He's doing great. Kick-ass. A Scot. Badass. Alan Sanderson.
Yeah.
And
No
it was a heyday. I mean, we're back to, I talked about lulls, but this was not a lull. We're back in the late 90s, early aughts to doing lockouts that are 6, 8, 10 months long, for the Stones or for Tom Petty or for the Chili Peppers. We were blessed, truly blessed to be around some incredible artists and incredible producers. And still to this day, I'm very fortunate. People are loyal to these buildings.
Well, as they should be.
As they bloody well should be, Rob.
Honestly, it will go back to what you said. The intangible aspect to these buildings is it's not just how it makes them sound. It's what you get out of yourself. I feel great in this room right now.
Oh yeah, I know, it's cool.
I wanna record something.
Can you
Can you make me a star?
Please, I would let you. Please come.
I narrowly
record.
missed out on a
No,
contract.
you know what would be super freaking cool? Well, we haven't gotten to the point yet where Rob's career has soared. He ends up going from being a runner at Oceanway to not just being the tape vault guy. He becomes the manager.
That would be a bad interview.
And and what you and I would consider director of operations. What was your actual title towards as you excelled? What was your?
Well, because Oceanway was bought by Hudson Pacific, and then we turned into United.
Demons. BlackRock, Blackstone, Demons.
I became the business director, and then I also took on two of their businesses for the film studios. But thank you for
giving Rob these opportunities.
Yes, exactly. So I had the broadcast engineering team and the lighting and grip team over there as well.
That's actually such a cool transition.
It was, but I was still overseeing United.
What was your title at United when Hudson Pacific bought it?
I was the studio manager.
Yeah, okay. That's been my title my whole career. People try to.
It's a very suitable title.
It's what you're actually doing.
Yeah, all these newfangled director of nonsense.
Well, and I know that when Rob moved over to work on the lot, he was just about to talk about that, but I was going to say very quickly that one of the things that helped me along my path that I had to learn when I ran smaller studios, when I was saying earlier that I did the accounting, I did the taxes, I did the payroll taxes. This is almost pre-QuickBooks where I had a ledger, and so I did the invoicing, I did the billing, I did all the sales taxes, I did the payroll taxes, figured out the payroll, and that was such good training for me to run a business for someone else, because booking is booking. Booking is another whole, and negotiating and booking time is a whole nother palette of skills that I'll give us both credit for. I'm not saying I'm a fucking genius, but I'm a fucking genius, and you're a fucking genius without question. But those other things that I learned in business, and you had a history in business at school, those things really helped me when I came to cello, because it was essentially, I've always worked for other people and run their businesses for them, which is what I still do for Doug Rogers, my boss, who's a badass businessman in his own right. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to run this magnificent place. It's a privilege. But that training made me a better manager. I don't have to do that any
There's
longer.
nothing-
And you were talking
yeah.
about building the support team. Yeah, it's not like knowing too much is a bad thing unless it's something you don't want to see. But other than that, so you took those skills and you parlayed them into quite a nice job within a corporate environment.
Yeah, and the teams that I took on for the film studios, the engineers, there's a thread of commonality running through
Right.
the engineer mindset goes into broadcast as well, right?
Right.
I'm just so comfortable around those people. It's like a studio family. There's nothing quite like it, and it's a departure from the usual corporate-ness.
Yeah. So
and I
even-
actually missed the old days where there was less of corporate-ness.
I have been so lucky in my career. I've worked for individual owners,
But even California labor laws are a little bit
Yeah.
boring now.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
Probably not a good idea to get political, but I remember some of the things that...
we're not talking child labor. But what I think what gets missed, it's the double-edged sword, as you said. Unions are important. Labor laws are certainly important. We don't want to abuse the abusable. But at the same time, you got to have that want and that desire to be an engineer. I mean, it's a dedication.
Got to be in you.
It's got to be in you.
Because you can't say no to anything.
No.
You got to just get it done. It's
And
just get it
And
done.
thank you for the 12-hour day, you motherfucker, George Martin and the Beatles. Because, the 12-hour day, I love you guys. But I believe they were some of the people, maybe the Kinks, whomever, come up with the 12-hour day. Now, there, in and of itself, the 12-hour day sounds counterintuitive to labor law.
Oh, well, yes.
Obviously, we pay overtime and double time, but when your average working day is a 14-hour day, now we're going full circle back to me talking about being a miner in Wales. The 14-hour day is
And
a long
cut.
day. Yeah, it's a long day. You got to be dedicated. So you'd gotten to the point where you're in the corporate position and you're on the lot and you're working with the broadcast folks. And I know you loved that. I know you loved it, but you did miss. You were still at United.
I
and
had less
overseeing United.
time. I had less time at United, and and I was away from the building, and I just love that building. Like I was there for 20
We
years.
get separation anxiety when we're
No,
too
honestly,
far away from the building. Yeah.
every time you go in, and you probably get this as well. Every
Yeah.
time I went into the studio, like Studio A, Studio B, and you're by yourself. You just
That's
take a
the best.
moment to realize where you are.
It's like pinch yourself.
And that is my favorite era in time, by the way. The late 50s, early 60s
Yeah.
is just, I kind of wish I'd have been born then.
I think musically, I was talking to John McBride about this. I think 54 to 57 for me to 207 to 2007.
And then it just went to
I'm
shit.
not quite sure what the fuck is happening after that. But yeah, I can't. I said something to my husband the other day. I said, we're going to be alive in 2043. We're going to be alive in possibly 2050 if I make it.
Depends how lunch goes today.
Yeah. Rob is also a member of the illustrious wine group called Vin Audio, which I am a proud solo female member of this group, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah, we have to leave and go to wine lunch. Just have to wrap this shit up, okay, people? Yeah, we got important shit to do, okay?
I would love to tell the people where I am now. If
Yes,
we
no,
manage to-
we're going there. We're not going to let
Okay,
that go.
well, stop
So-
waffling on about labour laws. I'm
course.
sorry.
No, that won't happen. That won't happen.
It's my fault.
Well, point being about that was twofold. We were saying the dedication is required, and we were also saying that when you are in a position, whether it's corporate or you're just in a job where you're running a staff, the sensitivity that comes into play of the people that work for you. It's one thing for me to know accounting. It's one thing for me to be able to do this and do that. But as beautiful and as incredible as these buildings are, they're just buildings. It's the people inside the buildings that make the building come alive. So it's the staff
You are
You know?
absolutely right. And I was always so proud of the staff we had
Absolutely.
at United. I'm sure you are of your team.
Absolutely. And I was proud of your staff as well. No, seriously.
Yeah. But honestly,
Yeah.
there's a camaraderie between the studios, right?
Yeah.
It's a real. I always liken
We're
it to the.
competitors, but we've
I always
always
liken
been
it
friends.
to the mafia. Like nobody's going to get shot.
I call it
these
keeping the
days.
circle tight. I do
But-
recall, I think I probably called you early on. It might have been at Cello or whenever you had become the manager, and I might have been like, look, this is the deal. You, me, Capital, we keep the circle tight. We refer work to each other. We look out for each other. You need to borrow something, I'm here for you, etc. And I can't tell you how important those relationships are. And the other studios, Conway, Henson, all of you, Westlake, Love of the Village, everybody, Silent Zoo now, and Evergreen, God bless all of you. We are in it to win it and in it to help each other. And I have felt that way. I have never let the competitive nature of it stop me from being friends with all the other people.
Absolutely.
It's a community.
It just makes life easier.
Easier.
It just makes
Yeah.
life easier and happier, right?
Yeah, and the clients are going to go where they want to go. And the best thing you can do is, build loyalty through service.
absolutely.
So you were in the corporate situation, and when did you make the leap? What is your title now? What are you doing now? And what is the facility that you run now?
Okay. So I made the leap. It wasn't exactly the way I wanted to make the leap, I'll be honest.
Well, you pushed off the lily pad.
I was pushed. I was pushed into my next move. No, unfortunately, Hudson did close down operations of United, and I think it's in flux right now. It's still there.
Still doing some
there.
videos. Ellis Sorkin, who's also in our group, tells me that he's been able to book a video shoot recently.
And to their credit, it is not their business. It is their
No,
business.
that's not to their credit.
ownership.
Okay, if you listen to this, people at Hudson United who will remain nameless, I know you go around the world and you buy film lots and you buy real estate and you're giant real estate investment firms. And I know you're sensitive to the film lots and things like that. Recording is not the redheaded stepchild of film, my friends.
No,
Music
no.
is crucial and essential.
I absolutely. I think what I was going to
Don't
say.
miss the point.
What I was going to say was they do want to keep that building, and they are
good.
looking.
Good.
And I know they are. Insider information. I'm still on the inside. Got my ear to the ground.
Is it
I know
going to
what's
be
going-
offices?
Oh, I don't know that. Actually, I don't know. I don't think so.
Oh, I hope not.
But I can't say, and I'm no longer.
Although
with
I
the
wouldn't mind having my
company,
office
and-
inside Studio A.
Yeah, but I know that the owner, Victor Coleman, he genuinely loved the studio.
Oh, good.
So
good.
there is that. Okay,
He's
but
the only person that I want to talk to there.
yeah, no, he's a good guy.
We love you.
So
Remember this name, Candace Stewart.
I actually was out. I had mentally shifted out of the recording
Well,
industry.
you had to focus and learn on what you were doing.
Well, actually, but how interested I am in wine and spirits. That's a huge interest of mine.
Yeah.
Not from just purely getting drunk at lunch with
No.
studio people, but
It's the love of viniculture and the love of you should, will, and probably soon be a sommelier.
my
stomach's growling.
Right.
Did you finish? Is it called the NSETs? Is that what it's called?
No, I got the Court of Masters Sommeliers. I just did the intro exam and
You did all right.
I did all right. Yeah.
Yeah,
passed
for a
it.
youngin, you know a lot. That's why we let him.
I
in
love
the
how
group.
you call me young.
We let him in the group. Well, he's the father of two. Now, we didn't mention Otis. We mentioned Giselle, but we just didn't mention Odie or your lovely bride, Mary.
Yes, my brilliant wife Mary.
Yes, without question.
And yeah,
Good looking, too. Southern
She-
like me, with superior
is.
female, of course.
Yeah, well, I can't argue with that. I actually can't. And Otis is a cheeky little devil.
Cheeky joy.
Who's kept me up since 2:30 in the
Oh,
morning.
well, we do hope, and shout out to Otis and Mary and Azalea. Otis, I hope the sinus infection heals up quickly and you're feeling right as rain, little one. How old
Me
is
too.
Odie now?
He's 4. And let me just
Aw.
say, Otis, I'm not going to have
Aw.
the patience I did last night tonight.
Daddy loves
So-
you.
He does, very much.
Yeah.
So yeah, now I'm at Volume Studios in Inglewood. And
My brother was born in Inglewood and lives there now. Full circle.
Is that right?
Yeah, and he worked at the record plant, and he's an incredible photographer and artist. My brother David. He's the third of my brothers nearest to me, and he lives on a street called Brett.
Oh,
Yeah, right off of like Fairview.
well, I don't know.
Where
any.
is
It's near the
Volume
airport,
located?
so it's on Aviation
Oh, okay.
and Manchester. It's
Now,
just
is
around-
it? I know that the group 1500 or Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We have James Fauntleroy and Rance Dobson, who are part of that group, and they had started the 1500 or Nothing Academy,
Exactly. Yeah.
which is to teach recording, a trade school for recording.
Yeah, it's not just recording. It's it's the music business.
Oh, really? It's
the
is there any, like-
marketing. It's the branding. It's
Oh, that's
everything that
very
goes
important.
into the industry as it is now. I mean,
Right.
it's not split into. You have to be everything.
Oh,
right?
that's for sure.
More and more.
But one thing that's really cool though is that you don't necessarily have to go with a big label. You can make your music, put your music out there if you're hip to branding, hip to marketing, and hopefully you're good, and you get followers and things like that. Basically, to me, the social media followers, Instagram followers, whatever, it's not unlike building a fan base of old. A fan base is a fan base.
Yeah.
But now you don't have to rely on the bank that charges you 85% interest, which is what a label is.
True. The way people market themselves these days is so
cool.
different from it. Yeah, it's really cool. But the thing is, nobody
It's
really
artist
teaches
empowerment.
it. The great thing about the program, the 1500 Academy, is that it not only do you learn like all the aspects of the business, but the people that they know, James and
Oh,
Rance,
the contacts. Oh, yeah.
I mean, they get like the best speakers through.
Like Dr.
Kendrick,
Dre or Kendrick
Snoop,
Lamar. Or,
Yeah, Justin Timberlake, and then
And a little
Gary
just a little
Vaynerchuk.
JT,
just people who are entrepreneurs as well, because that's a big part of it. The entrepreneur spirit is alive and well at 1500.
Now,
'cause
will Volume Studios, what is the layout? How is it equipped? Will the people that are going to 1500 Nothing be doing sessions at Volume?
so
Or is it
And this
commercial,
is-
open to the public?
it's commercial, but it's not like your traditional studio. It's the reason I'm there is because when I saw the place, I'm like, I can probably stay in the business a bit longer.
Nice.
It's like,
because
you know,
we did segue that he was going to be a som. He's going to do both.
Oh, I don't know about some, but there's a lot of work goes into that, and I'm too old.
No, that's not true.
But
You're a man, so you're a step above me. There's not many female soms. Not enough, anyway.
do we want to change that? I don't know.
I might be a little too old to change that, but I do respect it madly. But the discipline required is not dissimilar, is all I'm going to say. You are
Understood. No, I
feel like I pulled that back in.
You did. You reeled it back in. You saved me. So the layout.
I'm the best host you've ever had.
Yes. I can't
How many
argue with that.
podcasts have you been on?
Well, we have a podcast room. It's a nice segue.
Oh, right,
So
yes.
there are 3 studios. There's A, B, and C. We've got vintage SSLs.
Again with letters.
I know. I think you're quite unique in your number system over here. And I think it was only because it differentiates
It was
the
confusing.
buildings.
Yeah, probably. But vintage SSLs, really? Like
Yeah.
G pluses?
There's a G plus
With automation.
and there's a J, and
Oh,
then
nice.
where we have an Atmos room. Studio A is an Atmos room. It's
Is it
being
PMC,
built
the
right
speakers?
now.
PMC, or what speakers are you going with?
TBD.
Well, I'm going to give it.
this-
It's not. He can't say it yet because he doesn't want to blow the secret. But I will say, I don't have an Atmos room here. But I will say, when you get at that level, PMC, ATC, etc., it's subjective and hair splitting because these are all incredible speakers. There's company Cali Audio, who is not necessarily as well known, but makes incredible speakers. And I have a friend in this building, my tenant, Jeff Ellis, who has his Atmos set up with Cali, and they're getting traction, and they make a really nice product. So if the speakers haven't been determined yet, that's another one for you to visit. PMC got in bed with Dolby early on. I don't mean that in a bad way. They just were affiliated early on. But again, This is an ATC house. East West is, except for our SSL room. We have Augsburgers. And no offense to Dave Malikpour, these are not the PAD Augsburgers. These are actual Georgia speakers. Dave Malikpour runs a company who makes a speaker called the Augsburger speaker, but it is a different Augsburger speaker. Anyway, that notwithstanding, I just came back from AES, so that was present in my mind. But regardless of what speaker you go with, having an Atmos room, I think, is a wise move on your part, because along with what you're teaching at 1500 or nothing, now do they teach recording engineering there?
They do.
Okay, good.
So along with the Atmos room, we also have a Dolby Atmos theater, and it mirrors the setup.
Very cool.
So it's all kind of in-house, and then we have a huge sound stage, which we're already bringing in rehearsals.
Oh, and you'll be able to do videos. Do you have a green screen or anything like that?
It's whatever.
It's all happening.
Whatever you want to put in there, it's
Right.
really big. Podcast room, executive offices.
Well, you could
editing
obviously do
suite.
showcases. You could do video shoots. You can do, obviously, you can record music, record podcasts. Now you've got this Atmos playback theater, so someone can have their Atmos source material and come in and check it in that environment.
It's pretty usable. It's a creative hub.
Well, I'm going to come down
Start
and
to
visit my
finish.
brother and check it out.
You absolutely should. We'll do another podcast there.
Yeah, oh, that would be lovely, actually. So we're gonna wrap up this episode of Trade Secrets. There's so much more I could talk to Rob about. I will have you on again, because I feel like we glossed over the personal growth from Sterling to now.
I didn't grow anymore after that.
I feel like we might have kind of, because we kind of glossed over, like we didn't talk a lot about all the incredible clients and people that he worked with during the Oceanway years and before the Hudson.
Coming in part 2, if it's so
yeah,
demanded.
absolutely part 2. No, absolutely part 2. So, so happy to have you here today. You are a beloved friend and colleague.
I'm so happy to be
Happy to be had, right? Happy to be had. And mad respect, and I wish you much success at Volume. Anything I can help with, I absolutely will. It's very exciting getting a new thing off the ground, isn't it?
From the ground up, yeah. It's
It's scary exciting, though.
Yeah, it's more exciting than scary.
Now, when do you think, I know you're already doing stuff and your podcasts and stuff like that and sound stages, when will the recording rooms be open to the public?
Well, we have 2 that are technically
And is there a party and do I
bookable.
get to come?
That is going to happen.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Yeah, because
absolutely.
I want to.
No,
Check it out.
You'll be there. You'll
Okay,
be there
good,
for sure.
So you're already opening up gradually, and how can people contact you for Volume?
Well, if I can remember my email address,
What is it?
it is Robin
ROBIN.
Goodchild at volumestudioslllc.com.
That's a long fucking email.
I know.
Robin.Goodchild at Volume Studios LLC.com. And is there a phone number there?
Yes.
You don't have to tell it, but if you want to, you could share it. It's up to you. I don't think you're going to get bombarded. I mean, hopefully we get lots of listeners, but...
that would be 818-391-0890. That's 818-391-0890.
Isn't that your cell phone?
Yes. How do you know it? How do you know it? What
I
kind
don't
of
know.
capacity for numbers do you have?
That is a thing I have. I have a savant thing with numbers. So you didn't know that, but it's a thing. It's actually a thing. I was pre-cell phone. I'm like a Rolodex. Anyway, again, not about me. So proud of you. Not that I get to be proud of you, but I feel proud of you.
Makes me feel good.
And I think
Thank
it's
you.
really, really cool. I'm glad for one, and I'm sure many other people are, that you didn't leave the business. It would have been sad. We love you being in the fold.
I agree.
And I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this new opportunity. I know that you're a dad. You got 2 kids. You got to make a living, and making a living doing what you love is certainly better than not.
Exactly.
Couldn't
agree more.
Yeah. So we're going to close this episode.
Thank you for having me.
It's very good to be had. Thank you so much, Rob. It was really, really fun. And again, seriously, I think we could do another one. Thank you, Keith. for recording the episode. Thank you,
Thank
Nader,
you.
for filming us. We are now finishing this episode of Trade Secrets. I'm Candace Stewart. Thank you so much.